What if I told you the story of King Von didn't end in 2020? What if I told you the DNA test that just surfaced has flipped the entire narrative of hip-hop upside down? Shocking? Oh, we're just warming up. Because according to explosive new reports, King Von is not only alive, he's Asian Doll's baby father. Yes, you heard that right. The rapper the world mourned, the name etched in rap tragedy, is now allegedly living it up on a secret beach hideout, and apparently busy enough to leave behind something far more permanent than music, a child. But hold up, how did we get here? How does a man declared dead suddenly become the headline of a paternity scandal? Is this the ultimate government cover-up? A staged death gone wrong? Or is Asian Doll spinning the wildest love story of the decade? The internet is losing its mind. Fans are screaming resurrection, critics are screaming scam, and insiders are whispering about shady DNA reports that supposedly confirm the impossible. So buckle up. Because tonight, we peel back the layers of a scandal that mixes death, love, betrayal, and maybe the biggest cover-up hip-hop has ever seen. Every scandal begins with whispers, but this one starts with a scream. Because when the words DNA test and King Von appear in the same headline, you know the internet is about to implode. And implode it did. Let's rewind. November 2020. Chicago. Gunfire. Headlines blaring, rapper King Von dead at 26. Fans devastated, hip-hop world in mourning, memorials flooding the streets. The narrative was sealed. Or at least, that's what we were told. But if there's one thing scandals have taught us, it's this: the story is never really over. Especially when you add Asian Doll into the mix. Asian Doll, the self-proclaimed Queen Von, the woman who branded herself as the eternal flamekeeper of King Von's legacy. She tattooed his name, cried on live streams, gave interviews painting their love story as legendary. But here's the catch: behind the tears, behind the mourning, there were rumors. Rumors that she wasn't just preserving Von's memory. She was preserving a connection much more real, much more ongoing. Fast forward to 2025. Asian Doll announces her pregnancy. The internet goes wild, of course, but with curiosity more than shock. Who's the father? She doesn't say. She keeps it vague, mysterious, teasing fans with baby bump photos and cryptic captions. And that's when the conspiracy machine revs up. Because suddenly, insiders start dropping bombs. Not only was Asian Doll allegedly sneaking off to meet a mystery man, but blurry paparazzi-style photos began surfacing. A beach, a man with familiar tattoos, grainy enough to deny, clear enough to fuel suspicion. That's Von, fans started whispering. Von's alive. Crazy? Maybe. But then came the so-called DNA test. A leaked screenshot of alleged paternity results hit Twitter like a nuclear blast. Bold letters: biological father, Davon Bennett, aka King Von. Fake? Probably. Viral? Definitely. Within hours, hashtags like #VonBaby and #VonLives trended worldwide. And suddenly, what was once a tragic ending became a scandalous resurrection. But let's not act like this is out of nowhere. Because if you trace the history, the seeds of this narrative were planted long ago. Remember the conspiracy theories right after Von's death? Claims that the footage didn't add up, that hospital reports were sketchy, that his label stood to gain more from him dead than alive? Those whispers faded, until now. Now they've roared back, louder than ever, thanks to Asian Doll's pregnancy bombshell. Fans scoured old interviews, looking for clues. One resurfaced clip showed Asian Doll saying, "Von always gonna be with me." At the time, it sounded like grief. Now, conspiracy TikTok has twisted it into a coded confession. She meant literally. And then there's the money trail. Anonymous sources claimed that in the months before the pregnancy reveal, Asian Doll was spotted taking secret trips to exotic locations. Trips that didn't match her usual bookings. Bahamas. Turks and Caicos. Quiet beaches where paparazzi rarely roam. Coincidence? Or cover-ups? A supposed friend of a resort worker leaked this gem. She came with a man. He looked exactly like Von. Same tattoos, same walk. They stayed private, barely came out. Receipts? None. Believability? Off the charts for a scandal-hungry internet. And this is where part 1 escalates, because the scandal isn't just about pregnancy anymore. It's about the possibility that King Von never really died. That his death was staged, either as a protection move or as part of some deeper industry scheme. That while the world mourned, Vaughn was allegedly sipping cocktails on a beach, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Of course, the mainstream media dismisses all of this as nonsense. But when has that ever stopped the public? When the DNA test screenshot went viral, logic went out the window. Fans began demanding answers. Asian Doll's comments flooded. Is Vaughn alive? Is the baby his? Tell us the truth. Meanwhile, hip-hop blogs poured gasoline on the fire. One headline screamed, "From grave to cradle, King Von reborn as a father." Another said, "Asian Doll's pregnancy proves the impossible." But the most brutal reactions? The memes. Oh, the memes. One viral photo showed Maury Povich holding a card that read, "King Von, you are the father." Another showed Vaughn edited onto a tropical island, holding a baby bottle like a trophy. Savage. And through it all, Asian Doll stayed silent. No confirmations, no denials, just cryptic posts about new beginnings and God's plan. Which only made things worse. Because in scandal culture, silence equals guilt. By the end of this part, the narrative is crystal clear. The world no longer believes this is just about Asian Doll's pregnancy. The world believes it's proof that King Von is alive. The question isn't if the world believes it. The question is, how deep does the rabbit hole go once evidence starts piling up? By the time that so-called DNA test screenshot hit its 10th million view, the internet wasn't just curious anymore, it was convinced. Convinced that King Von hadn't died in Atlanta, hadn't been buried, hadn't become just another tragic name in rap history. No. According to Twitter detectives, Reddit conspiracy theorists, and a few shady blogs, he was alive, tanning on a beach, and preparing for fatherhood. And here's where things got nuclear, the fake investigative findings. First came the lab report. A PDF surfaced online claiming to be from a private DNA testing facility. Stamped with a logo nobody recognized, full of typos, but bold enough to state, paternity confirmed. Biological father, Davon Daquan Bennett. That name alone, Vaughn's real name, sent fans into meltdown. Screenshots of the PDF spread like wildfire. Nobody asked why a medical lab would use Comic Sans font or why the watermark looked like it was made on Microsoft Paint. No one cared. To the internet, it was proof. Then came the beach photos. Grainy, blurry shots of a man with Vaughn's tattoos lounging under palm trees. One photo even showed him with what looked like Asian Doll walking beside him, hand on belly. Was it Photoshop? Almost definitely. But to conspiracy TikTok, it was gospel. One viral video with 12 million views zoomed in on the tattoos, slowed the footage, and declared, "This matches perfectly. King Von is alive." And of course, anonymous insiders couldn't resist. One alleged friend of the family told a gossip blog, Vaughn had to go underground. Too many enemies. Too much heat. He faked it, and Asian Doll knew all along. Another claimed, the DNA test wasn't supposed to leak. Vaughn wanted to stay hidden, but the truth is out now. Truth? Lies? Who cares? The drama was too delicious. Public reaction split into 3 camps. Camp 1, the believers. These were the die-hard Vaughn fans who wanted nothing more than to see their hero alive. "He fooled the industry," one fan tweeted. "Vaughn's been alive this whole time, and now he's bringing new life into the world." The hashtag Vaughn Lives started trending, with fans posting tribute edits of Vaughn holding a baby. Camp 2, the skeptics. These were the ones calling BS. "Y'all believe a PDF made in paint," one critic posted. "Vaughn ain't alive. Y'all just desperate for clout." But here's the twist, even skeptics fueled the scandal, because every retweet, every meme, every clapback just made the story spread further. Camp 3, the trolls. The internet's favorite species. Memes exploded overnight. One showed Vaughn photoshopped on a beach with a pina colada, caption, "Witness protection vibes." Another showed him holding a baby stroller with the words, "From O-Block to OBGYN." Savage doesn't even cover it. But let's not forget the financial angle, because scandals like this always come with alleged money trails. Fake bank statements started circulating, supposedly showing large wire transfers from Vaughn's label to offshore accounts in the Caribbean. The implication? His label helped him disappear. They knew Vaughn made more money dead than alive, one conspiracy blog wrote. But now that he's having a kid, the secret couldn't stay hidden. Others claimed Asian Doll herself was pocketing hush money. She's been cashing checks to stay quiet, one so-called leak said. But pregnancy changes everything. You can't hide DNA. Whether real or fake, the documents fueled the narrative that this wasn't just a love story, it was a cover-up with millions at stake. And the fallout reached mainstream media. Talk shows picked it up. One host laughed, saying, "King Von alive? On a beach? Having a baby? That's not rap, that's Fast and Furious 12. The audience roared, but the clip went viral anyway. Every joke added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, hip-hop insiders piled on. Rappers who once dissed Vaughn suddenly tweeted cryptic messages. One posted, "Told y'all not everything is what it seems." Another wrote, "Beach vibes, grave vibes." Whether trolling or hinting, it kept fans hooked. And through it all, Asian Doll remained cryptic. No outright denial, no confirmation, just posts like, "God's plan always bigger than man's lies." What does that even mean? Nobody knew. Which meant everybody speculated. But the wildest twist came from alleged government leaks. One anonymous Twitter account claiming to be a retired federal agent wrote, "Vaughn entered witness protection. His death was staged. This child is proof he broke protocol." The tweet had no evidence, no receipts, but it hit 200,000 likes in hours. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just about hip-hop, it was about government conspiracies, FBI deals, and witness protection gone wrong. Fans began stitching videos, pointing out how Vaughn's autopsy photos looked off, how the casket was too light, how the shooting video was edited. Old conspiracies revived with new life, powered by the pregnancy reveal. By now, sponsors were allegedly panicking. One fake leak claimed a brand pulled out of a deal with Asian Doll, fearing association with staged death scandals. Another alleged that Vaughn's old label was scrambling to manage the narrative before the truth spread further. But let's be real, the narrative was already out of their hands. Because when you mix death, resurrection, pregnancy, DNA tests, and secret beaches, you don't get a story, you get a religion. And Vaughn's believers were treating this like gospel. They didn't just want him alive. They needed him alive. And Asian Doll's baby bump was the holy proof. By the time the so-called DNA test became the internet's holy grail, the scandal had spun so far out of control that the authorities had no choice but to notice. What started as whispers on Twitter was now splashed across mainstream headlines. King Von alive. DNA test connects him to Asian Doll's baby. The reaction? Pure chaos. First came the lawyers. Clarissa Shields' legal teams had barely finished threatening blogs over her pregnancy rumors when now Asian Doll's name was everywhere, tangled in a conspiracy that could break the internet. Word spread that Vaughn's family was considering legal action. Why? Because if Vaughn was alive, then someone was profiting off his death, insurance payouts, label deals, posthumous music sales. That's fraud on a multi-million-dollar scale. Anonymous court insiders claimed lawsuits worth $20 million were being whispered behind closed doors. Was Asian Doll complicit? Was the label involved? Nobody knew. But everyone had an opinion. And then came the bigger bomb, rumors of government involvement. A viral Twitter thread alleged that Vaughn was part of a witness protection program. His staged death? A deal to escape enemies, only to resurface years later in paradise. One retired FBI agent account tweeted, "The baby changes everything. A DNA test is a breach of protocol. If this is true, Vaughn could be forced back into hiding." No receipts, no evidence, just pure speculation, but the tweet racked up 500,000 likes. Suddenly, this wasn't just a scandal. It was a national conspiracy. Podcasts and YouTubers churned out episodes with titles like The Vaughn Resurrection Files and DNA, Death and Deception. TikTok detectives stitched old funeral footage, pointing out how the casket was too light and the autopsy photos looked staged. Clips got millions of views. Meanwhile, Asian Doll's career was imploding. Reports surfaced that major brands quietly pulled sponsorship deals. One leaked email allegedly read, "We cannot be associated with fake deaths, government scandals, or pregnancy hoaxes." Another claimed she lost a $2 million clothing line collaboration overnight. Even her music streams dipped. Fans who once rallied behind her were now split, some calling her a liar, others calling her a legend for protecting Vaughn's truth. Either way, she was no longer an artist. She was a headline. Other rappers wasted no time jumping on the bandwagon. One rival mocked her on Instagram Live. She pregnant with a ghost baby. Y'all trippin'. Another rapper posted a beach selfie with the caption, "Vaughn? Never seen him." Shade, trolling, and clout chasing became the new sport. But the most shocking reaction came from Vaughn's old associates. Some stayed quiet, but one alleged close friend told a gossip site, "We knew he was alive. He didn't die that night. This baby just proves it." Whether fabricated or not, it was enough to ignite another firestorm. The internet's three camps grew louder. The believers doubled down. They claimed the DNA leak was divine truth. "Vaughn lives through this baby," one post read. The skeptics mocked them relentlessly. "Y'all really out here treating a PDF like it's the Bible." The trolls? They had a field day. Memes showed Vaughn as Simba from The Lion King, holding a baby over Pride Rock. Others edited him into family portraits with Asian doll, complete with matching outfits. Savage BY now, the scandal wasn't just a story. It was an industry earthquake. Rumors swirled that Vaughn's label faced federal probes for insurance fraud and false death reporting. Imagine that, a record label accused of staging a rapper's death for profit, only to have a DNA test expose everything. Fake financial documents leaked online showing millions in death profits funneled to offshore accounts. True or not, the narrative was too juicy to resist. Asian doll, meanwhile, faced rumors of her own. Was she complicit in hiding Vaughn? Was she cashing in on the sympathy of his death, all while knowing he was alive? Some blogs painted her as a mastermind. Others called her a pawn. Either way, she was at the center of the storm. And Papoose, Remy Ma, Claressa Shields? Their scandals suddenly looked like child's play. This wasn't just about love triangles or revenge nights anymore. This was about life, death, and rebirth in hip-hop. As this part closes, the questions remain bigger than ever. If Vaughn is alive, will he come forward publicly? If the DNA test is real, what happens to Asian doll's baby? And if the government really staged all this, how much longer can they keep the truth hidden? Because one thing is certain, scandals fade, but conspiracies? Conspiracies live forever. And this one? This one has just begun. So what do we have here? A DNA test nobody can verify, a rapper declared dead but spotted on a tropical beach, and a baby that just might be the biggest plot twist hip-hop has ever seen. This isn't a love story. This isn't even a tragedy. This is a conspiracy wrapped in betrayal, sprinkled with drama, and served up as the scandal of the decade. But the real question isn't about paperwork or blurry beach photos. The real question is, do you believe it? Is King Von truly alive, hiding out in paradise, building a secret family with Asian doll? Or is this the wildest clout-driven hoax in rap history? Because let's face it, the internet doesn't care about truth. It cares about drama. And this scandal has it all: staged deaths, secret babies, government conspiracies, and DNA tests that read like plot twists from a Netflix special. So, I want to hear from you. Is this resurrection or fabrication? Is Asian doll the victim, the mastermind, or just another pawn in a game that's bigger than all of us? And if King Von really is alive, why now? Why let the world find out through a pregnancy test instead of his own voice? Drop your thoughts in the comments, believers, skeptics, and trolls alike. Because whether this is real, fake, or somewhere in between, one thing is clear: the King Von story isn't over. Hit like, smash subscribe, and turn on those notifications, because the next scandal? It's not just brewing. It's already here.